She's 23 years old, standing in front of a judge who holds her entire future in his hands, and she's laughing. Not just a nervous giggle, y'all. We're talking full-on, head thrown back, mocking laughter, rolling her eyes like this whole thing is some kind of joke, like she's bored at a DMV, not facing serious criminal charges. The courtroom goes silent. Even her own lawyer looks like he wants to crawl under the table. But she's smirking, confident, cocky even. You can practically see her thinking, y'all ain't got nothing on me. I'm walking out of here today. But she had no idea that in the prosecutor's briefcase there was a video that would wipe that smug look right off her face. A video so damning, so absolutely devastating, that within minutes her whole world would come crashing down. See, here's the thing about criminals who think they're smarter than everyone else. They always mess up. Always. They get cocky, they get sloppy, and they forget that in 2024, everything, and I mean everything, gets recorded. This is the story of a woman who thought she could literally get away with murder, who walked into court like she was about to beat the system, who laughed at justice itself. And then the video played. I'm your host, and today on Women Justice File, we're diving deep into one of the most shocking displays of courtroom arrogance you'll ever see. We're talking about a case that has it all: lies, manipulation, cold-blooded calculation, and a moment of justice so satisfying it went viral worldwide. Stick with me because what you're about to hear, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, so before we get to that wild courtroom moment, we gotta rewind. Because this ain't just about some random woman acting a fool in front of a judge. This is about how someone who seemed to have everything, looks, smarts, opportunities, ended up throwing it all away in the most devastating way possible. Let me introduce you to Amanda Kozel. Born January 14, 2000 in suburban Michigan. Middle-class family. Two parents who loved her. A younger brother she was supposed to protect. From the outside looking in, Amanda had what a lot of folks would call a normal, even privileged childhood. She grew up in the quiet suburb of Dearborn Heights, the kind of place where neighbors know each other, where kids ride bikes until the streetlights come on, where nothing really bad is supposed to happen. Amanda went to good schools, got decent grades, played soccer in middle school. Her teachers described her as bright but distracted, capable but unmotivated. Remember those descriptions. They're important. By the time Amanda hit high school, things started to shift. See, she was pretty and she knew it. Long dark hair, big eyes, that girl next door look that gets attention without even trying. And y'all, Amanda loved attention. Her social media was what you'd expect from a teenage girl in the 2010s. Selfies, lots of them, duck face poses, bathroom mirror pics with captions like "feeling cute, might delete later" and "living my best life." Nothing unusual, right? Every teenager does this. But here's where it gets interesting. If you scroll through Amanda's posts, and trust me, investigators did exactly that, you start to see a pattern. It ain't just about looking pretty. It's about the captions, the attitude. Rules don't apply to me, face blowing a kiss. Do whatever makes you happy. Consequences are for boring people. I always get what I want, one way or another. Some people are just meant to be winners trophy. Red flag alert, y'all. Because what we're seeing here ain't just typical teenage arrogance. This is something deeper. This is someone who genuinely believes they're special, that they're above the rules everyone else has to follow. Psychologists have a term for this: narcissistic entitlement. It's when someone doesn't just want special treatment, they believe they deserve it. They believe they're smarter, better, more important than everyone around them. And Amanda, she had this in spades. Now, don't get me wrong, Amanda had friends. She was popular enough. But if you talk to people who actually knew her back then, and reporters did after everything went down, they tell a different story than what her Instagram showed. She was kind of fake, one former classmate said. Like, she'd be super sweet to your face, but the second you left, she'd be talking trash. Another said, Amanda always had to be the center of attention. If someone else was getting attention, she'd find a way to redirect it back to herself. And then there's this detail that makes my skin crawl. She never took responsibility for anything. Ever. Nothing was ever her fault. Remember that, because it's gonna come up again real soon. Amanda graduated high school in 2018, barely. She'd skipped class so much senior year that she almost didn't walk. But she managed to scrape by, and then nothing. No college plans, no career ambitions, no real direction. Instead, Amanda did what a lot of directionless young adults do. She partied. And y'all, she partied hard. We're talking every weekend, sometimes weeknights too. Bars, house parties, clubs in Detroit. And alcohol wasn't just something she enjoyed, it became her whole personality. Her social media from 2018 to 2019. It's like a documentary of someone spiraling. Every single post involves drinking. Bottles of vodka, mixed drinks, beer pong, shots, with captions like drunk and don't care and too blessed to be stressed, too drunk to remember. Now, here's the thing that really matters. Amanda drove drunk. A lot. According to friends, ex-friends really, because ain't nobody sticking up for her now. Amanda would regularly get behind the wheel after drinking. Multiple people told investigators they'd tried to stop her, tried to take her keys, tried to call her an Uber. Her response: "I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. I've done this a million times." Let that sink in for a second. This wasn't a one-time lapse in judgment. This was a pattern, a choice she made over and over again, fully aware of what she was doing. By early 2019, Amanda was working part-time at a retail store, still living with her parents, spending most of her paycheck on alcohol and partying. She'd had a couple of relationships, but nothing serious. According to people who knew her, she got bored easily, would move on the second someone wasn't giving her constant attention. She needed to be worshipped, one ex-boyfriend told a local newspaper. Like, you couldn't just love her, you had to make her feel like she was the most important person in the world 24/7. It was exhausting. So we've got a young woman who craves attention, who thinks rules don't apply to her, who has a serious problem with alcohol and driving, and who refuses to take responsibility for her actions. Y'all see where this is going, right? It's May 2019. Amanda is 19 years old. It's a Saturday night, and she's doing what she does every Saturday night, getting drunk at a friend's house party. Except this night, this one night, her choices are about to destroy multiple lives forever, including her own. But she doesn't know that yet. Right now, she's posting Instagram stories with her friends, laughing, dancing, taking shot after shot. The caption on one video reads, "Best night ever." It would be the worst night of her life. And for two other people, it would be their last. May 18th, 2019, 11:47 p.m. It's a warm Saturday night in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. Most people are winding down, heading home, getting ready for bed. Some are still out, enjoying the weekend. Among them, Jerome Zerker, 31 years old, and his fiancée Brittany Johnson, 29. Let me tell you about Jerome and Brittany, because they deserve to be more than just statistics in this story. They were real people. People with dreams, with families who loved them, with a future they'd planned together. Jerome worked in construction. Hard worker, never missed a day. His coworkers called him the most reliable guy on the crew. He'd proposed to Brittany 6 months earlier, and they were planning a fall wedding. Simple ceremony, close friends and family, nothing fancy. That wasn't their style. Brittany was a preschool teacher. A preschool teacher, y'all. She spent her days with 4-year-olds, teaching them their ABCs, tying their shoes, wiping away tears, making them feel safe. Her students loved her. Parents loved her. Her principal said she was one of those rare teachers who genuinely sees the good in every child. That night, they'd gone to dinner at a local restaurant. Nothing special, just a normal Saturday date night. They'd had one glass of wine each with dinner. Just one. Jerome was driving, completely sober. At 11:47 p.m., they're heading home eastbound on Annapolis Street. The light at the intersection of Annapolis and Gully is green. Jerome maintains a steady speed, exactly the 35 mph speed limit. He's a careful driver, always has been. Everything is normal. They're probably talking about their wedding plans, or what they're gonna do tomorrow, or maybe they're just sitting in comfortable silence like couples do. They have no idea that in exactly 8 seconds, their lives will end. Meanwhile, and this is where my blood starts to boil, Amanda Kozel is behind the wheel of her Chevrolet Tahoe, driving southbound on Gully Road, approaching that same intersection. She is drunk, not tipsy, not a little buzzed, drunk. Her blood alcohol content, as toxicology reports would later show, was 15, nearly twice the legal limit. For reference, at 15 BAC, you have severely impaired judgment, reduced motor control, and significantly delayed reaction time. And she's speeding, going at least 50 miles per hour in a 35 zone, possibly faster. Eyewitnesses from nearby houses would later tell police they heard her engine revving, heard her car accelerating. The light at the intersection is red, bright red, has been red for over 4 seconds. There's no ambiguity here, no yellow light judgment call. This light is red. Amanda doesn't slow down, doesn't even tap her brakes. 11:47 and 55 seconds p.m. Amanda Kozel blows through that red light at over 50 miles per hour and T-bones Jerome and Brittany's car on the driver's side with such force that the impact can be heard 3 blocks away. The sound of metal crushing, glass shattering, the physics of 2 vehicles colliding at high speed are horrific. The force, thousands of pounds per square inch, is unsurvivable. Jerome's car spins 180 degrees and slams into a telephone pole. Amanda's Tahoe, massive and heavy, continues through the intersection before finally stopping in the middle of the road, steam rising from the destroyed front end. 11:48 p.m. Multiple 911 calls start flooding in. There's been a terrible accident at Annapolis and Gully. Oh my God, I just saw. Someone needs to get here now. I think people are dead. Neighbors run out of their houses. Someone has a flashlight. Someone else is grabbing blankets, though they won't help. A retired paramedic who lives on the corner is already running toward the wreckage. He reaches Jerome and Brittany's car first. Jerome Zerker is pronounced dead at the scene. The impact was so severe, so catastrophic that even if paramedics had been standing right there, there was nothing anyone could have done. Brittany Johnson is still breathing. Barely. She's unconscious, severely injured. The retired paramedic and another neighbor carefully support her head and neck, praying the ambulance gets there in time. It doesn't matter. Brittany dies in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, paramedics desperately trying to save her life. Now let's talk about Amanda. Her Tahoe's airbags deployed. She's got some bruises, a small cut on her forehead, maybe a sore shoulder from the seatbelt. She's alive, conscious, able to move. And what does she do? According to the first responders who arrived on scene, and their testimony is chilling, Amanda stumbles out of her vehicle, looks at the carnage she's caused, and immediately starts trying to run away. You heard that right. She tries to leave the scene. A witness, a man named David Chen who'd been walking his dog, physically stops her, puts his hands up, says, "Ma'am, you need to stay here. Police are coming." And Amanda's response. This is according to David's sworn testimony in court. "I'm fine, I need to go, I have somewhere to be." Let that sink in. 2 people are dying 50 feet away. She's clearly intoxicated, stumbling, slurring her words. And she's trying to leave because she has somewhere to be. David, bless him, doesn't let her pass. He's a big guy, 6'2", and he basically blocks her path while telling 911 dispatch. The driver of the Tahoe is trying to flee on foot. 11:51 p.m. First police car arrives. Officer Marcus Webb, 15-year veteran of the Dearborn Heights Police Department. He immediately secures the scene, calls for backup, for more ambulances, for the fire department. Then he approaches Amanda, who's now sitting on the curb, David Chen standing nearby making sure she doesn't bolt. And this is where things get even more disturbing. Officer Webb turns on his bodycam and approaches Amanda. The footage, and y'all, this footage would later be shown in court, is hard to watch. Amanda is clearly intoxicated. Her eyes are glassy and bloodshot. She's swaying even while sitting down. There's a strong smell of alcohol. Officer Webb notices immediately. Officer Webb, ma'am, are you injured? Do you need medical attention? Amanda slurring. I'm fine. Can I go home now? Officer Webb, ma'am, you were involved in a serious accident. I need you to stay seated. Have you been drinking tonight? And here's where she lies for the first time, not the last time. The first time. Amanda, no, I had like 1 beer hours ago, I'm fine. 1 beer hours ago. Y'all, her BAC was 15. You don't get to 15 from 1 beer. That's roughly 6 to 8 drinks in a few hours for someone her size. Officer Webb knows she's lying. He's been doing this for 15 years. He knows what drunk looks like, smells like, sounds like. Officer Webb, ma'am, I can smell alcohol. I need you to be honest with me. How much have you had to drink tonight? Amanda, I told you like 1 beer. This isn't fair. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. Folks in the medical examiner's van are literally loading Jerome's body right behind her. Brittany is coding in an ambulance, and Amanda Kozel looks at a police officer and says she didn't do anything wrong. Officer Webb performs field sobriety tests. Amanda fails all of them, can't walk a straight line, can't stand on one foot, can't follow a pen with her eyes without jerking movements. She refuses a breathalyzer at the scene, which, by the way, in Michigan, that's an automatic license suspension and can be used against you in court. But Amanda, in her drunk and delusional state, thinks she's being clever. I know my rights, she slurs. I don't have to take that test. I want my lawyer. Officer Webb arrests her on the spot for suspicion of DUI and vehicular manslaughter. As he's putting handcuffs on her, reading her Miranda rights, Amanda says something that multiple officers on scene would later testify about. This is stupid. I'm gonna sue you guys. My dad's gonna fix this. While Amanda is being processed at the police station, refusing to cooperate, demanding to call her father, insisting this is all a big misunderstanding, Jerome Zerker's family gets the call no family should ever receive. Brittany Johnson's mother is woken up at 1:30 a.m. by police at her door. 2 families destroyed in an instant. A wedding that will never happen. Preschoolers who'll come to class Monday morning asking where Miss Brittany is. A construction crew wondering why Jerome isn't showing up for work. Lives, real lives, gone. And Amanda. At the police station, she finally takes a blood test, which, because of Michigan law, police can compel once you're arrested. The results come back hours later, 15 BAC. When she's informed of the results, you know what she says. That can't be right. Your machine is broken. No remorse. No, oh my God, what have I done? No tears for the people she killed. Just denial, just lies, just anger that she got caught. Her booking photo from that night is something else, y'all. She's not crying, she's not devastated, she looks annoyed, like this is an inconvenience. Like she's mad about having her Saturday night interrupted. But here's what Amanda doesn't understand yet, what she won't understand for a long time. This isn't going away. Her daddy can't fix this. Her lies won't work. The evidence is overwhelming, undeniable, irrefutable. She killed 2 people, and Michigan doesn't play around with vehicular homicide cases, especially ones this egregious. The charges are filed within 48 hours. 2 counts of second-degree murder, operating while intoxicated causing death, reckless driving causing death. Amanda posts bail, her parents mortgage their house to do it, and she's released pending trial. And this is where things get absolutely wild. Because most people, after killing 2 innocent people and being charged with multiple felonies, would lay low, would stay off social media, would show some kind of remorse or understanding of the gravity of what they've done. Not Amanda. Within weeks of being out on bail, she's posting on Instagram again. Selfies, party photos, smiling, living her life like nothing happened. One caption, I kid you not. Can't keep a good girl down, another. Innocent until proven guilty face with rolling eyes. The families of Jerome and Brittany see these posts. The community sees them. The prosecutor sees them. and everyone is thinking the same thing. Does this girl have any idea what she's done? Spoiler alert, she doesn't. Or maybe worse, she does and she just doesn't care. But here's the thing about the legal system, about justice, about evidence and cameras and witnesses. You can lie. You can pretend. You can post all the fake smiles you want on Instagram, but the truth always comes out. And Amanda Kozel, she's about to learn that lesson the hardest way possible. All right, so here's what's happening behind the scenes while Amanda is out on bail living her best life and posting tone-deaf selfies. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office is building a case. And when I say building a case, I mean they are constructing an ironclad, airtight, absolutely bulletproof case. Lead prosecutor, Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Morrison, a woman with an 87% conviction rate who specializes in vehicular homicide cases. She's tough, she's thorough, and according to colleagues, she takes drunk driving cases personally. Her younger sister was injured by a drunk driver in college. When Morrison gets the Kozel file on her desk, she knows immediately this is gonna be high profile. Everything about it screams media attention. Young, pretty defendant, completely innocent victims, shocking behavior, social media angles. But Morrison doesn't care about the media circus. She cares about one thing: making sure Amanda Kozel never gets behind the wheel drunk again and never has the opportunity to hurt anyone else. So what evidence does the prosecution have? Oh, buckle up because it's a lot. First, the red light camera footage. This is huge. The intersection where the crash happened has traffic cameras that capture everything. And I mean everything. The footage shows, in crystal clear HD, Amanda's Tahoe approaching the intersection at high speed. The light is unmistakably red, has been red for 4.2 seconds. There's no question, no ambiguity, no maybe she thought it was yellow. She blows through that red light without even tapping her brakes. Second, Jerome's dash cam. Remember how I said he was a careful driver? Well, careful drivers often have dash cams, and Jerome's was rolling. The footage from inside his car is haunting. You can hear him and Brittany talking, laughing about something. Then you see the green light ahead. Jerome maintains his speed. Why wouldn't he? He has the right of way. Then for just a split second before impact, you see it in the corner of the frame, Amanda's Tahoe coming fast from the left. The video cuts out on impact. That footage was shown to the families in private first. Jerome's father said watching it was the hardest thing he's ever done. Hearing his son's voice, knowing what's coming, not being able to warn him. But it's evidence. Crucial evidence that shows Jerome did absolutely nothing wrong. Third, multiple eyewitnesses. At least 7 people either saw the crash or saw Amanda's Tahoe speeding through the neighborhood in the minutes before. A couple walking their dog 2 blocks away heard her engine revving, saw her blow through a stop sign. A man taking out his trash saw her swerving slightly, not drastically, but enough to notice. The retired paramedic who tried to help heard the impact from inside his house, said it sounded like an explosion. David Chen, the guy who stopped Amanda from fleeing, gives a detailed account of her behavior immediately after the crash. Disoriented, slurring, stumbling, smelling of alcohol, and trying to leave. Fourth, Officer Webb's bodycam footage. Every interaction with Amanda that night is recorded. Her slurred speech, her failed sobriety tests, her refusal to take a breathalyzer, her lies about 1 beer hours ago, her complete lack of remorse. Fifth, the toxicology report, 15 BAC, irrefutable. Her defense will try to challenge it. They always do. But these tests are administered according to strict protocols. Blood was drawn by a certified phlebotomist, tested at an accredited lab. Chain of custody documented every step of the way. But wait, there's more. Oh, y'all, there's so much more. Sixth, Amanda's phone records and social media. Detectives get a warrant for her phone, and what they find is damning. Text messages from that night to friends. Getting Suwo wasted lol. And Ima be so hungover tomorrow face with tears of joy. Instagram stories from the party. Posted just an hour before the crash. showing her taking shots, dancing with a bottle of vodka, clearly intoxicated. And here's the kicker. At 11:32 p.m., just 15 minutes before the crash, she posted a selfie from her car with the caption, "Driving home drunk is my cardio person female dashing JKJK. Or am I?" She posted a joke about driving drunk. 15 minutes before she killed 2 people by driving drunk. You cannot make this up. 7th. Financial records show Amanda's credit card was used at the party to order multiple rounds of alcohol delivery from a liquor delivery app. Timestamps, itemized lists, everything. Between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m., she spent $143 on alcohol. That's a lot of booze for one person at a house party. 8th. Witness testimony from the party. Multiple people at the party that night tell police, and later testify in depositions, that Amanda was really drunk, that they tried to take her keys, that she insisted she was fine to drive. One friend, a girl named Jessica who'd known Amanda since high school, gives a particularly detailed account. She says she literally grabbed Amanda's keys at one point and Amanda got aggressive, saying, "Give me my effing keys back. I'm not some amateur. I've driven drunk 100 times and I've never crashed. I've driven drunk 100 times." Jessica says she eventually gave the keys back because Amanda started causing a scene and she didn't want to deal with her drama. Now, Jessica feels enormous guilt about that decision. She's in therapy. She wonders if she just held firm, just dealt with Amanda's tantrum, would Jerome and Brittany still be alive? The sad answer is probably yes. 9th. The Accident Reconstruction Report. Michigan State Police have some of the best accident reconstruction experts in the country. They analyze skid marks, or in this case, the lack thereof, vehicle damage, point of impact, physics calculations, everything. Their conclusion: Amanda was traveling between 52 and 58 mph in a 35 mph zone. She made no attempt to brake or swerve. Analysis of her vehicle's computer system. Yes, modern cars have black boxes too. Confirms she didn't touch the brakes until after the collision. The reconstruction team's final determination: driver exhibited behavior consistent with severely impaired judgment and reaction time. The collision was entirely preventable and solely the fault of the driver who ran the red light. So you see what I mean about an airtight case. Prosecutor Morrison has video evidence, eyewitnesses, physical evidence, digital evidence, expert testimony, phone records, social media posts, toxicology reports, literally everything. Any defense attorney looking at this file knows this ain't a case you take to trial to win. This is a case where you negotiate the best plea deal you can get and hope for mercy. But Amanda ain't interested in plea deals, because Amanda still thinks she's gonna beat this. Her defense attorney, a guy named Richard Brennan, experienced, well-respected, known for being a straight shooter with his clients, sits Amanda down multiple times and explains reality to her. "Amanda, the evidence against you is overwhelming. The prosecutor is offering second-degree manslaughter with a recommendation of 8-12 years. Given the circumstances, that's actually a decent offer. If we go to trial and lose, you're looking at 20 to life." And Amanda's response, according to later court filings: "I'm not pleading guilty to something I didn't do. This whole thing is overblown. It was an accident. I'm not a murderer." Y'all, this is what narcissism looks like in practice. It's not just vanity or thinking you're pretty. It's a complete inability to see reality clearly, to accept responsibility, to understand consequences. Amanda genuinely believes that because she didn't intend to kill anyone, she shouldn't be held responsible. She genuinely thinks that calling it an accident means she's not culpable. She doesn't understand or doesn't care that her choices led to this. Choosing to drink excessively, choosing to drive, choosing to speed, choosing to run a red light, every single one of those was a choice. And those choices killed 2 people. The case moves through the pretrial phase. There are hearings about evidence admissibility, motions from the defense to suppress certain evidence, all denied. Arguments about whether Amanda's social media posts can be shown to the jury, the judge rules yes, they absolutely can. Brennan, her attorney, gets increasingly frustrated. He files motion after motion trying to get the red light camera footage excluded, trying to challenge the toxicology results, trying anything to weaken the prosecution's case. Nothing works. The evidence is too solid, too well documented, too properly obtained. At one pretrial hearing, Judge Daniel Ryan, a no-nonsense judge with 20 years on the bench, looks at Amanda directly and says, "Miss Kozel, I've reviewed the evidence in this case. I'm going to be very clear with you. If you go to trial, the outcome is not going to be favorable for you. I strongly urge you to seriously consider the prosecution's plea offer." It's rare for a judge to be that direct in a pretrial setting. Judge Ryan knows what's coming. He's trying to do Amanda a favor, trying to save her from herself. Amanda sits there, and court observers noted this, with a slight smirk on her face. Like she knows something the judge doesn't. Like she's got some ace up her sleeve. She doesn't. The trial is set for March 15, 2021, nearly 2 years after the crash. COVID delays pushed everything back, gave Amanda even more time to think she might beat this, more time for her to post inappropriate social media content, more time for the families to suffer waiting for justice. During those 2 years, according to later testimony, Amanda violated her bail conditions multiple times. She was caught drinking, which was explicitly forbidden. She was caught at a bar, also forbidden. Each time her parents bailed her out, paid fines, convinced the judge to give her another chance. And each time, Amanda learned the wrong lesson. She learned that she could screw up and someone would save her. That rules didn't really apply to her. That she was special. But here's the thing about the criminal justice system, especially when there's overwhelming evidence and a prosecutor who knows what she's doing. Eventually, you run out of chances. Eventually, you have to face what you've done. For Amanda Kozel, that day is coming, and she has no idea how badly it's gonna go. March 15, 2021, the day Amanda Kozel's trial begins. The courthouse in downtown Detroit is packed. I mean, standing room only. Jerome's family is there, his parents, his siblings, his cousins. Brittany's family, her mother, who hasn't been the same since losing her daughter, her father, her brother. Friends of the victims, community members, activists against drunk driving, media from every local station and several national outlets. And then there's Amanda. She walks in wearing a conservative dress, clearly chosen by her attorney to make her look sympathetic, hair pulled back, minimal makeup. The image of an innocent young woman. But y'all, if you watch the footage and news cameras caught this, there's something off. She's not showing the body language you'd expect from someone on trial for killing 2 people. She's not nervous, not scared, not remorseful. She looks annoyed, like this is an inconvenience, like she's got better places to be. The trial starts with jury selection. Prosecutor Morrison knows she needs a jury that won't be swayed by Amanda's age or appearance. She needs people who understand that actions have consequences, regardless of how young or pretty you are. The defense wants the opposite. They want people who might sympathize with Amanda, who might see this as a tragic mistake rather than a crime. After 2 days, they have their jury, 8 women, 4 men, ranging in age from 28 to 67. Diverse backgrounds. Several have kids. One lost a friend to a drunk driver decades ago. The defense tried to exclude him, but he convinced the judge he could be impartial. Opening statements begin. Prosecutor Morrison stands up and, "Folks, this woman does not mess around. She's prepared, she's passionate, and she's got right on her side. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is about choices. Not accidents, not mistakes, choices." On May 18, 2019, Amanda Kozel made a series of choices. She chose to drink not just 1 beer, as she'll claim, but enough alcohol to raise her blood alcohol content to nearly twice the legal limit. She chose to get behind the wheel of a 5,000-pound vehicle. She chose to speed through residential streets. She chose to run a red light. And those choices, her choices, ended 2 lives. Morrison clicks a remote, and photos of Jerome and Brittany appear on screens around the courtroom. Young, smiling, full of life. Jerome Zerker was 31 years old. He was engaged to be married. He worked hard, paid his taxes, followed the rules. On the night he died, he was doing everything right. He was sober. He was obeying the speed limit. He had a green light. Brittany Johnson was 29. She taught preschool. She had students who loved her, who asked where she was when they came to school Monday morning. She had her whole life ahead of her. Morrison's voice gets harder. And in less than 2 seconds, because of the defendant's selfish, reckless, criminal choices, they were gone, killed instantly. They never had a chance. This is not a tragic accident. Accidents are unavoidable. This was preventable. This was avoidable. This was a crime. The jury is locked in. You can see it in their faces. They're already taking this seriously. Amanda, sitting at the defense table. She looks bored. Richard Brennan, the defense attorney, stands up. And look, I'll give him credit. He's in an impossible position. He's got to defend someone who's clearly guilty with overwhelming evidence against her. But it's his job, so he does his best. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened on May 18th was a tragedy. Nobody disputes that. 2 wonderful people lost their lives, and that is heartbreaking. But my client, Amanda Kozel, is not a murderer. She's a young woman who made a terrible error in judgment, an error that will haunt her for the rest of her life. The prosecution wants you to see her as some kind of monster, some cold-blooded killer. But she's not. She's a 21-year-old girl who made a mistake, a devastating, awful mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. This is the defense's strategy. Minimize it as a mistake, play up Amanda's youth, hope for sympathy. It's not a great strategy, but when the evidence is this bad, what else can you do? Over the next week, Prosecutor Morrison systematically presents her case, witness by witness, piece of evidence by piece of evidence. Officer Webb testifies about Amanda's behavior at the scene, her intoxication, her lies, her attempt to flee, her complete lack of remorse. The jury watches his body cam footage. You can see their reactions. Shock, disgust, disbelief. David Chen, the witness who stopped Amanda from fleeing, testifies about what he saw and heard. His testimony is powerful because he's so genuine, so clearly still affected by what he witnessed. She was stumbling, slurring her words. She smelled like a distillery, he says. And all she cared about was leaving. She didn't even look at the other car, didn't ask if anyone was okay, just wanted to leave. The accident reconstruction expert walks the jury through the science of what happened. Using diagrams, computer simulations, physics calculations, he shows that Amanda was speeding, that she never braked, that the crash was 100% her fault. If Miss Kozel had been traveling the speed limit, she would have had time to stop at the red light, he explains. If she had been sober, her reaction time would have allowed her to brake even while speeding. But she was both speeding and intoxicated, which created a situation where this collision was inevitable. The toxicology expert explains blood alcohol content to the jury. She breaks down what 15 BAC means: severely impaired judgment, slowed reaction time, decreased motor control. At 15, a person should not be operating any machinery, let alone a vehicle, she testifies. The defendant would have been significantly impaired in her ability to drive safely. Then comes the digital evidence. Prosecutor Morrison methodically shows the jury Amanda's social media posts from that night, the party photos, the shots, the bragging about being drunk, and then the piece de resistance, the post from 11:32 p.m., 15 minutes before the crash. Driving home drunk is my cardio, person female dashing JKJK. Or am I? The courtroom goes silent. Several jury members visibly react, shaking their heads, looking at Amanda with disgust. Amanda, for the first time, looks uncomfortable. But here's what really seals the deal. Testimony from Jessica, Amanda's friend from the party. Jessica is crying on the stand. She's clearly torn up about this, clearly feeling guilty about giving Amanda her keys back. Morrison asks, "Did Amanda say anything to you about driving that night?" Jessica, through tears. "Yes, I tried to take her keys. I told her she was too drunk to drive. And she got really angry. She said, 'I've driven drunk 100 times and I've never crashed. Give me my effing keys.'" Morrison, "Did she say she'd driven drunk 100 times? Jessica, yes. Morrison, "And what did you do?" Jessica, "I gave her the keys back. I didn't want to deal with her being mad at me." That testimony is devastating because it shows this wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a pattern, a habit, something Amanda did regularly and bragged about. Then comes the hardest part of the trial, victim impact testimony. Jerome's mother takes the stand. Y'all, this woman can barely speak through her tears. She talks about her son, about the man he was, about the future he'll never have. "He was supposed to walk me down the aisle at my vow renewal," she sobs. "He was supposed to give me grandchildren. He was supposed to grow old. And he's gone because someone couldn't bother to call an Uber." Brittany's father testifies about finding out his daughter was gone, about having to tell his grandchildren that Aunt Brittany isn't coming back, about the preschool memorial where 4-year-olds asked why Miss Brittany went to heaven. "She was the light of our family," he says, "and that light is just gone." The defense has no effective cross-examination for these witnesses. What are you gonna say? "Sorry for your loss, but my client didn't mean it." Brennan wisely keeps it brief, expressing condolences and sitting back down. The defense's case is thin. They have to be. There's not much to work with. They call a character witness, Amanda's aunt, who testifies that Amanda is a good girl who made a mistake. The prosecution shreds this on cross-examination by asking if the aunt knew about Amanda's frequent drunk driving. She didn't. They call a psychologist who testifies that Amanda shows remorse and understanding of what she did. But on cross-examination, Morrison asks, "Doctor, did Amanda ever specifically say, 'I'm sorry for killing Jerome and Brittany'?" Long pause. "Not in those exact words, no." "Did she say anything resembling an apology or acceptance of responsibility?" Another pause. "She expressed regret about the situation." Morrison, "The situation. Not her actions, but the situation." "Thank you, doctor." The defense's big decision, does Amanda testify? In most cases like this, defense attorneys advise against it. Too risky. The prosecution will tear you apart on cross-examination. But Amanda, and this is according to courtroom reporters who covered the trial, Amanda wants to testify. She thinks she can explain herself. She thinks she can make the jury understand. Brennan advises against it, strongly. But ultimately, it's Amanda's decision. She decides not to testify. Later, we'll find out she regrets this decision, but not for the reason you'd think. Closing arguments arrive. Morrison stands before the jury and delivers a closing statement that's been described as devastatingly effective. "Members of the jury, over the past 2 weeks, you've seen overwhelming evidence that Amanda Kozel is guilty of the crimes she's charged with. You've seen video of her blowing through a red light at high speed. You've seen her blood alcohol results, nearly twice the legal limit. You've heard her own words, 'I've driven drunk 100 times.' You've seen her social media post, joking about drunk driving, posted 15 minutes before she killed 2 people. And most importantly, you've heard about Jerome and Brittany, real people with real families who loved them, people who are gone forever because of one person's selfish choices." Morrison walks over to the defense table and looks directly at Amanda. "The defendant wants you to believe this was just a mistake. But mistakes are things like forgetting your keys or showing up late. This was a crime that took 2 innocent lives. Don't let her youth fool you. Don't let her appearance fool you. Don't let claims of remorse fool you. Judge her by her actions. And her actions killed Jerome Zerker and Brittany Johnson." The courtroom is dead silent. Brennan does his best in his closing. He emphasizes Amanda's age, her lack of criminal record, the idea that she'll have to live with this forever. It's a competent argument, but everyone in the room knows it's not enough. The jury deliberates for just over 4 hours. That's actually pretty quick for a case like this. But when the evidence is this clear, there's not much to debate. Now here's where things get really interesting, and this is what the video title is referring to. During the 4 hours of deliberation, Amanda is waiting in a courthouse conference room with her family and attorney. And according to people who were there, her demeanor is shocking. She's not nervous, not praying, not crying. She's confident, almost giddy. She tells her mom they've been in there too long. That means they're arguing. That means at least some of them think I'm innocent. I might actually walk out of here. Y'all, the delusion. Her attorney apparently tries to manage her expectations. Amanda, please don't get your hopes up. The evidence was very strong against us. But Amanda isn't hearing it. She's convinced herself she's won. 4:37 p.m. The jury sends word they've reached a verdict. Everyone files back into the courtroom. The families, the media, the lawyers, the defendant. Amanda walks in practically bouncing, smiling at her parents, confident. The jury files in. None of them look at Amanda. In trial lawyer circles, there's a saying, if the jury won't look at the defendant, it's a bad sign. A very bad sign. Amanda doesn't know this, or doesn't care. Judge Ryan addresses the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand the jury has reached a verdict. Before we proceed, I want to remind everyone in this courtroom that there will be no outbursts, no reactions, no matter what the verdict is. Bailiffs are instructed to remove anyone who disrupts these proceedings. Is that understood? Everyone nods. Judge Ryan, will the defendant please rise? Amanda stands up. She's smiling, actually smiling. Her attorney looks like he's about to be sick. Judge Ryan, Madam Foreperson, has the jury reached a verdict? Foreperson, we have, Your Honor. Judge Ryan, on the charge of second-degree murder in the death of Jerome Zerker, how do you find? Foreperson, we find the defendant guilty. Judge Ryan, on the charge of second-degree murder in the death of Brittany Johnson, how do you find? Foreperson, we find the defendant guilty. Amanda's smile disappears. Her face goes white. She looks at her attorney like he can fix this, like there's been some mistake. Behind her, Jerome's mother is sobbing with relief. Brittany's father has his head in his hands, but the judge isn't done. There are more charges. Operating while intoxicated causing death, guilty. Reckless driving causing death, guilty. Guilty, guilty, guilty. And here's where things get absolutely wild and why this case went viral. Amanda, instead of showing remorse or accepting the verdict with dignity, does something unbelievable. She laughs. She literally laughs. It's caught on the courtroom cameras. A short, sharp, sarcastic laugh, followed by her rolling her eyes and shaking her head like the jury got it wrong, like this is all so ridiculous. The judge sees it, the prosecution sees it, the families see it, everyone sees it. Judge Ryan's expression goes from neutral to ice cold. Miss Kozel, did you just laugh? Amanda, still in her delusional bubble. This is insane. They got it completely wrong. I'm innocent. Judge Ryan, Miss Kozel, you have just been found guilty by a jury of your peers of 2 counts of second-degree murder. I suggest you show some respect for this court and for the families of your victims. Amanda, whatever, I'll appeal. This is total BS. The courtroom erupts. Jerome's family is yelling. Bailiffs are trying to restore order. Amanda's own attorney is trying to get her to shut up. Judge Ryan slams his gavel down. Order, order in this court. And then the judge says something that makes everyone go silent. Miss Kozel, your complete lack of remorse, your disrespect for these proceedings, and your appalling behavior have been noted. Sentencing is scheduled for 3 weeks from today. I suggest you spend that time reflecting on your actions and preparing yourself, because I can assure you, your behavior today will factor into my sentencing decision. Amanda is led out of the courtroom by bailiffs. She's still shaking her head, still in denial, and that's when the prosecutor makes her move. All right, so we've reached the sentencing hearing. 3 weeks after that verdict, Amanda is back in front of Judge Ryan to learn her fate. And y'all, she has learned nothing. She walks into the courtroom with the same attitude, same smirk, Same confidence that somehow, some way, this will all work out for her. Her attorney has clearly had multiple come-to-Jesus talks with her, because Amanda is dressed conservatively again, and she's been coached to stay quiet and look remorseful. But you can see it in her eyes, she's still not getting it. The sentencing hearing begins with victim impact statements. Jerome's family speaks. Brittany's family speaks. They talk about the void left in their lives, about holidays that will never be the same, about futures stolen. Amanda sits there looking bored. Then Prosecutor Morrison stands up. Your Honor, before you pass sentence, the state would like to present one additional piece of evidence that has come to our attention. The judge looks intrigued. Proceed. Morrison wheels over a laptop and projector. Your Honor, 3 days after the guilty verdict, the defendant posted a video to her TikTok account. With the court's permission, I'd like to play that video. The video. Amanda's face goes white. Her attorney looks confused. He clearly didn't know about this. Judge Ryan, permission granted. Let's see it. The video starts. It's Amanda in her bedroom at her parents' house, filming herself in a mirror. She's wearing a crop top and shorts, doing her makeup. The audio is a trending TikTok sound, something upbeat and defiant. And the caption? The caption reads, POV. Convicted but still bad af nail polish they big mad but I'm bigger face blowing a kiss guilty verdict can't stop my glow up sparkles number still blessed number haters gonna mad number I didn't do it number appeal pending y'all. This woman convicted of killing 2 innocent people posted a thirst trap TikTok with hashtags like number still blessed and number haters gonna hate. The courtroom is stunned into silence. Absolute silence. You could hear a pin drop. Jerome's mother starts sobbing. Not sad tears, angry tears. Brittany's father looks like he wants to jump over the barrier, but the video isn't done. Amanda continues in the video, now speaking directly to the camera. So like, everyone's been asking me about the trial. And yeah, the jury got it completely wrong, but my lawyer says we're gonna appeal and I'm probably gonna win. So to everyone sending me hate, keep it coming, it just makes me stronger. I know my truth, I know I'm innocent, and I'm not gonna let this situation define me. This situation, not the people I killed, not my victims, not the terrible thing I did. This situation. The video ends. The courtroom is dead silent. Judge Ryan is staring at Amanda with an expression of pure disbelief and disgust. Judge Ryan, Miss Kozel, did you post this video? Amanda quietly. It's just TikTok. It doesn't mean anything. Judge Ryan, answer the question, did you post this video? Amanda, yes, but Judge Ryan, thank you, I've seen enough. Y'all, judges are supposed to be impartial, professional, calm. But Judge Daniel Ryan is a human being, and you can see he is done with Amanda Kozel's nonsense. Miss Kozel, in my 20 years on the bench, I have never, and I mean never, seen such a complete lack of remorse, such disrespect for victims and their families, such utter failure to take responsibility for one's actions. You killed 2 people, not in a split-second mistake, not in an unavoidable accident, but through a series of deliberate, selfish choices. You chose to drink excessively. You chose to drive. You chose to speed. You chose to run a red light. And even after being convicted by a jury of your peers, after hearing the anguish of the families whose lives you destroyed, you post a video on social media bragging about being blessed and calling yourself bad, which I assume means attractive in your generation's slang. Judge Ryan's voice gets harder. You have shown absolutely no remorse, no empathy, no understanding of the magnitude of what you've done. Your attorney asked me to consider your youth, your lack of criminal history, your potential for rehabilitation. But Miss Kozel, rehabilitation requires first acknowledging you've done something wrong, and you clearly don't believe you have. The presentence report recommends 10 minutes 15 years. The prosecution recommends 15 minutes 20 years. Your defense requests the minimum sentence of 8 years. Amanda is starting to look nervous now. Maybe, finally, it's sinking in that this is real. Miss Kozel, given the severity of your crimes, the overwhelming evidence of your guilt, your pattern of drunk driving, and most significantly, your complete and utter lack of remorse as evidenced by your behavior in this courtroom and on social media. I hereby sentence you to 25 years to life in the Michigan Department of Corrections, with the possibility of parole after serving the minimum 25 years. 25 to life. Amanda's face crumples. What? No, that's not no, her mother screams from the gallery. Her father is holding her mom back. Amanda turns to her attorney. Do something, he can't do this. Brennan quietly. Amanda, he can. And he did. Judge Ryan isn't done. Additionally, upon release, if you are ever released, you will be on probation for life. You will never be allowed to drive again. You will be required to speak at DUI prevention programs as part of your parole conditions. And Miss Kozel, that TikTok video you posted, I'm ordering it to be used in drunk driving prevention programs across the state as an example of exactly the kind of narcissistic, irresponsible thinking that leads to tragedies like this. Your smug video is going to be used to educate teenagers about what not to be. Amanda is fully crying now. Not tears of remorse, tears of self-pity, tears of this isn't fair, this isn't how it was supposed to go. Jerome's family is hugging each other, crying tears of relief and grief. Brittany's mother stands up and looks directly at Amanda. I hope you think about my daughter every single day for the next 25 years. I hope you finally learn what it means to take responsibility. And I hope you never, ever hurt anyone else again. Amanda is led out of the courtroom in handcuffs, still crying, still protesting. As she's being taken through the door, one of the bailiffs, a woman who's been in the courtroom for the whole trial, reportedly said, "Maybe now you'll learn that actions have consequences." The case explodes on social media. That TikTok video, played in court and then released to the media, goes absolutely viral. Millions of views, thousands of comments. This is the most disgusting display of narcissism I've ever seen. She killed 2 people and posted a thirst trap. What is wrong with people? Good. She deserves every year of that sentence. This should be shown in every driver's ed class in America. The case becomes a cautionary tale. Schools use it in their DUI prevention programs. Mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving features it prominently in their campaigns. That courtroom moment when Amanda laughed at the guilty verdict and then the TikTok video, it becomes one of the most watched courtroom clips on YouTube with over 50 million views. So where is Amanda now? As of 2024, she's serving her sentence at the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Michigan. She's 24 years old. She won't be eligible for parole until 2044 when she'll be 44 years old. Her appeal was denied. The conviction was solid, the evidence overwhelming, the sentence appropriate. According to reports from people who have communicated with her, through the prison pen pal system that some advocacy groups run, Amanda's attitude has changed. Sort of. She's apparently found God in prison, claims she's a changed person, says she finally understands the pain she caused. But here's the thing. A lot of inmates find God when they're looking at 25 years. It's a common pattern. Whether it's genuine or just another manipulation tactic, that's for others to judge. Her TikTok and Instagram accounts were deleted, but screenshots live forever on the internet. Her name is now permanently associated with one of the most egregious displays of narcissistic behavior in recent legal history. Jerome and Brittany's families have created foundations in their loved ones' names. The Jerome Zerker Memorial Scholarship helps construction workers go to trade school. The Brittany Johnson Foundation provides supplies for underfunded preschools. They've turned their grief into something positive, something that helps people, unlike Amanda, who turned her crime into a social media opportunity. So what do we take away from this case? First, if you've been drinking, don't drive, ever. Not just down the road, not I'm fine, not I've done it before. Call an Uber, call a friend, sleep in your car, walk. Any option is better than getting behind the wheel. Second, if you see someone trying to drive drunk, do whatever it takes to stop them. Take their keys and don't give them back even if they get mad. Call the cops if you have to, because saving a life, even if it's the drunk person's own life, is worth dealing with some drama. Third, actions have consequences. Amanda Kozel thought she was special, thought she was above the rules, thought she could do whatever she wanted without facing consequences. She learned the hard way that's not how the world works. And finally, that TikTok video, that courtroom laugh, they remind us that sometimes the worst criminals aren't the ones who look scary or evil. Sometimes they're pretty 23-year-olds who smile for selfies and act like they're the victim. Remember, we all make choices. Choose wisely, because consequences are real even if you think you're above them. Drive safe, y'all. So what do you think about Amanda Kozel's case? Do you think 25 years to life was enough, or should she have gotten more? And that TikTok video, can you believe someone would post that after being convicted of killing 2 people? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If this case left you speechless, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Women of Crime for more jaw-dropping true crime stories. And click the bell icon so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload a new video. Want more shocking courtroom moments? Check out the video on your screen right now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next case. Stay safe out there.